Soapy's Sherry here from Misty Goodness AMD Soap, and today I am making a cucumber puree soap, and I am making a rather big batch. So these are my master batch oils, and actually I'm gonna start at a little different point here. So this is my cucumber puree. It looks a little foamy right now because I did just hit it up with the stick blender. So it's got some air bubbles worked into it. But what I did was I took a homegrown cucumber, I peeled and deseeded it, and then I mashed it up a bit with my stick blender. It was still really chunky. So then I put it into the freezer and let it freeze, and then I took it out of the freezer and defrosted it, and I've just hit it up with my stick blender again, and I'm really happy with the puree size. I don't see any any really chunks at all. It looks like a really nice puree. I did have to add like a teaspoon or two of water to it when I was stick blending it the first time, just to kind of help it incorporate. But I'm hoping that by removing the cucumber peels and the cucumber seeds, that I won't have any weird orange spots in my soap. I've noticed that's kind of a thing in all of the other soap makers soaps that have cucumber puree, because they just do up the whole cucumber. So in this bucket is my master batched oils, and it is really clear and really runny because I just master batched this like 9 hours ago. So it is room temperature now. And then I also have my fragrance oil and my coconut milk, which I'm going to show you my fragrance oil here, and hopefully I'm holding this the right way. I'm not sure which way to hold it. But this is what it is. It's Nature's Garden Cucumber Splash. It does smell more melony to me, but that may also be because I don't like melons, so that's what my nose picks up first. I don't really get any cucumber scent from this, so I'm going to have to poll a couple people and see what they say and what they think of it after it's done curing. I might have to rename this to Melon Cucumber Splash or something like that. There's a few chunks going in there, but there's really not anything I'm worried about. And I'm shooting for about 90 grams. Oops, I went a little bit over. I may as well just dump the whole thing in. Okay, so there's about 100 grams of cucumber puree, up with a 29% lye solution strength because of that little bit of extra cucumber puree. I am going to, let's see, I think I'm going to hit up my lye solution here with a stick blender really quick. To hit up my lye solution with a stick blender is because it's got French green clay in it, which is why it's so green, and that tends to be kind of clumpy, so I wanted to try and help break up some of those clay clumps in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit up my oils with the stick blender, and we'll add the lye solution. So here's the soap batter at it's at an emulsion, I would say. It's looking pretty well incorporated. I don't see any really streaky bits to it. So I am going to separate this off into colors, and my colors today are Peat Green from Micah's and More, and I think this one has been now renamed Mint Cream, and then Blackish Green Mica from Micah's and More, and Peacock Blue from Micah's and More. So here's our Peacock Blue. This is our main portion of our soap, and it is getting a little yellowy looking, and that's totally normal for the Peacock Blue. It will be a really nice blue when it cures. And then here's our blackish green and our peak ornament cream green. And I'm gonna go grab the mold and we'll get these guys going. And not much. All right, so I've zoomed you guys out as far as I can get you, but I am using my long, tall and skinny. This is 2 feet long, and I'm switching up from my tall and skinny mold for a couple of reasons. One, I want a little bit more of a consistent pour than what I normally get with my loaf mold, because my loaf mold has headroom in it. So sometimes when I'm doing these big pours like this, I end up with slightly wonky bars. So I'm gonna try and minimize that by switching over to my tall and skinny molds. There is a little bit of slight ricing going on, but it is hand stirring out, so I'm not too worried about it. Oops. And this is thickening up on me, and that's pretty normal for my recipe. I did switch just a bit to increase my rice bran oil and decrease my coconut oil. Trying to see if, sorry for the shaking guys, trying to see if I can get something a little bit more workable with the lower liquid concentrations. And I am just kind of plopping this in as I go here in just alternating layers. I'm not really concerned for this blue layer here that if it's all the way through or not. I'm gonna stop and give this guy a little bit of a pound out to even him out a bit. This next layer of green here, I'm also not too worried about it being evenly through every bar, because I did make sure that the first layer of green was pretty evenly dispersed, and I do want to leave a bit for the top. So we'll kind of do the same here for the green, and then we'll cover it up with some blue, and we'll use about that much. There we go. We'll use my handy dandy swirl tool. I am going to give this another pound before I put blue over it. Okay, and this is a swirl tool I got from Heritage Workshop, I think. And I'm just going to do a couple of big swirls, small, or circles, and it is getting quite thick on me, and I'm going to zigzag through there a few times and swirl. It's really thick and heavy, so I don't think there's going to be any such thing as over swirling this guy. And we'll kind of scoot you guys down there. So I don't really have, whoops, we're sliding right off screen. I don't really have a set pattern for swirling. I think I was trying to kind of develop one last year, and I forgot what I was doing last year. I might have to go back and watch some of my own old YouTube videos. I'm just going to plop in, whoop, you get back over there. Maybe I should have started with one of the outside edges. I'm just gonna kind of fill in here with some of these other colors. And I might not have left myself enough to do the whole way down. I don't think I did. So we're gonna just do more of a random plop than an even line here. And as they say in the business, make it look good in post. I was going to try to do a Taiwan swirl on top of this, but it just moved way too fast. I'm just totally playing around with lie concentrations and seeing kind of what my recipe can and can't do, and I'm discovering that with hard oils, because my recipe is 65% hard oils, that you really do need to have a lot of liquid to be able to work with your soap, especially when you're doing additives like coconut milk. I seem to be struggling a bit more on the coconut milk side. And I totally love these experiments that I'm doing. I'm just really kind of excited to get back into playing with soap again. And this top totally looks like a disaster, doesn't it? It'll be okay though, I promise. Need a little more there. So right now I'm just kind of smushing in and getting a feel for what maybe needs a little more color, and probably gonna make somebody cry doing this right now. As long as it's not me, I'm okay with that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna squish this top up. Okay, let's get serious about doing something about this top, right? Because I know somebody somewhere is dying over what I've done to this soap top. Alright, so I'm just gonna smush it on up with my spoon, and we'll clean up those edges. Don't worry, stop panicking. I hear you, man. I can see you panicking. And we're going to smush it up on the other side. And I'll probably do what I did to the Perfect Man batch that I made the other night. I didn't record that one in a video because I have done a video showing that one recently. Well, I shouldn't say recently, like March or so. And so even though I did give it a little bit of a redesign, I don't feel that it kind of warranted doing a new video. So I'm just going to take my skewer here and just make a pretty design, a swirly design in the middle of it, down the center. The Cucumber Splash coconut milk and cucumber puree soap, whoops, that I made last night. So it's probably been about 14 hours. It was really hot in the soap lab, so this one went through a really hard gel phase right away. So it is ready to go way sooner than I normally cut. And you can see I cut my long loaf in half, and I cut it way crooked. Someday I will get that squared away. so I'm not cutting things crooked. It's not too bad. I have one bar that's a little, my end bar is a little wonky cut. Oh, I should maybe turn on the lights so you guys can see. And this is, so this one's a little wonky. I might have to keep this one for me. Here's our swirl inside. I'm still not sure which way I need to hold this thing for the camera. So I'm pretty happy so far with that swirl. It looks pretty good. Because my recipe is so hard, I usually do end up with quite a bit of steric spots. I think any change that I might make next time would be maybe a little less blue base color and a little more of the green and dark green colors. I'm pretty happy with these color choices though. I was originally going to do this dark green as a yellow, and then I decided that didn't go with the splat, with the scent, with the splash, really. The scent is, ooh, a little bit of scent seeping on that bar. The scent is definitely, let me see if I can get my light higher. There we go. The scent is definitely more melony, but I am getting more of a cucumber scent to it. It's not overwhelmingly cucumber right now. Whoops. I picked up a stray from my shreds box off to my left there. So this was kind of a unique experience. This is the first time I've used this particular fragrance. So I don't know if that attributed to the acceleration that I saw, or if it was the cucumber puree that added to it, or if it was just flat out the heat. I did change up my recipe a bit. I don't know if I mentioned that in the making video, but I did change it up a bit to increase my rice bran oil. So I increased that by 2% and decreased, that's a nice chunky bar for me. So it looks like I get 2 bars out of this batch. Woohoo! So I increased the rice bran oil by 2% and decrease the coconut oil by 2%, so that puts it at about a 63% hard oil recipe, just to see if I could fiddle a bit with getting things a bit more workable. The heat right now in the soap lab, or my soap dungeon as I'm calling it, really is killing things a bit too. That's not helping the situation. So I suspect once I get back to cooler weather temperatures, and it gets to be a bit cooler in here, things will be much easier for me, and I'm just going to switch up my seasons. So my soap year is probably going to start running from October 1st to June 1st. And I'm going to try my hardest not to make any soap from June 1st to mid-September or so. And that's it for the Cucumber Splash soap. I am going to go ahead and I'll probably leave these set for a few hours till I come back from my regular job. I might try to, seeing as this is going to be a wonky bar anyways, and I'm not going to put it in the store. I'm gonna see if I can kind of straighten that guy out a bit, just so I have kind of one semi-usable bar. So that one's a little bit thinner, and then that one's got a wonky cut in it. Maybe I'll just cut all these up and just put them in a soap bundle. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, because I really don't need a whole bunch of soap in my space. So anyways, these are available for pre-order in the store. Actually, by the time this video posts, it they will probably be fully cured and completely available. I will have some soap bundles coming out soon for end cuts and stuff like that. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay soapy.